Ladies and gentlemen, your journey begins not with action, but with conviction. The world may doubt you, but your belief must be louder than their silence. Because when you believe, you unlock a power no one can take from you. Belief is the invisible force that shapes every aspect of our lives. It's not something you can touch or see, but you can feel its power in the way it influences your thoughts, your decisions, and your actions. Everything begins with belief. Before a dream becomes a reality, before a goal is achieved, before success is tasted, there must first be a belief that it's even possible. Without belief, talent remains dormant. Intelligence has no direction. Passion burns out. You could have the best ideas in the world, the strongest work ethic, or the most powerful tools at your disposal. But if you don't believe in yourself, none of it will matter. You will sabotage your own progress before life ever has the chance to test you. Think about the people who made history. They were not always the most qualified, the most gifted, or the most experienced. But they carried a deep, unshakable belief in their vision. That belief drove them to wake up early, stay up late, fail publicly, and still get back up with fire in their eyes. It gave them the power to persist when logic said to quit. Belief makes the impossible seem like a challenge rather than a defeat. It fuels you when you're tired. It gives you reasons to try again when the world gives you every reason to stop. You see, belief changes the way you see yourself and your circumstances. A person who believes will find opportunity in every struggle, while a person who doesn't will find excuses in every blessing. Belief shifts your mindset from why me to try me. It creates confidence before results arrive. It makes you act like the person you're becoming, not the one you used to be. And that's where transformation begins. Because the moment you start believing you can, everything else starts aligning. Your mind sharpens, your energy increases, your vision becomes clearer, and your decisions begin to reflect that belief. People often wait for proof before they allow themselves to believe. They wait for validation, for results, for someone else to give them permission. But belief doesn't wait for evidence, it creates it. You don't need a crowd to cheer you on, you don't need a perfect plan to start, and you don't need your circumstances to be ideal. What you need is the audacity to say, I can do this, even when there's no visible reason to believe it. Because belief is not based on what is, it's based on what can be. And when you believe deeply enough, you'll start to move like the version of yourself you've only imagined. You will stumble, you will doubt. You'll have days where the weight feels heavier than your will. But belief doesn't mean you never feel fear. It means you don't let fear make your decisions. It means you step forward, even with shaking hands. You speak up, even with a trembling voice. You try again, even after falling apart. That's the power of belief. It's not loud, it's not boastful. It's quiet, steady, and relentless. It whispers to you, keep going, when everything else is screaming, give up. Belief is the soil where every seed of greatness is planted. Without it, nothing grows. With it, anything is possible. So don't wait for someone else to hand you belief. Build it brick by brick, through your discipline, your consistency, your courage, and your willingness to show up for yourself. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to start believing that you are never meant to stay where you are. Your life can change. Your story can evolve. Your dream can become real. But only if you choose to believe it, deeply, fully, unapologetically. Because belief is not just the beginning of achievement, it is the very foundation of it. There's a common misunderstanding in the world that believing in yourself is somehow arrogant, that confidence is mistaken for pride, and that standing tall in your purpose is a sign of ego. But that couldn't be further from the truth. Real self-belief is not about thinking you're better than others. It's about having the courage to bet on yourself in a world that constantly tells you to shrink. It's about recognizing the value within you, even when no one else does. It's the willingness to say, I can, when everyone else expects you to doubt. That's not arrogance, that's bravery. Because here's the truth. It takes immense courage to look at your flaws, your fears, your failures, and still say, I am worthy of trying again. Most people run from their imperfections. Most people hide behind distractions, blame, or silence. But those who possess self-belief stare straight into their reflection and embrace the full picture. They don't pretend to be perfect. They commit to growing. And that decision alone is powerful. Because believing in yourself doesn't mean you think you'll never fail. It means you trust yourself to rise each time you do. This kind of belief isn't loud. It doesn't need to shout or prove anything to anyone. It's not driven by comparison, competition, or applause. It's quiet, rooted, and unwavering. It's waking up each morning knowing that no matter how uncertain the path, you're still going to walk it. It's showing up when no one notices. It's working hard when no one's clapping. It's trusting your own vision when the crowd tells you to turn back. That's what makes it courageous, because it goes against the grain. It's easy to doubt. It's easy to hide. It's easy to hide. It's easy to settle for average. But to believe in yourself anyway, that takes strength. There will be people who misunderstand you. There will be moments when others think you're being too confident, too ambitious, too bold. But you must remember, their opinions are not your responsibility. Their fears are not your burden to carry. You don't need to dim your light to make others comfortable. And you don't need to wait for someone else to approve your path. You are not here to play small. You are here to live fully, grow deeply, and walk boldly in the direction of your calling. True self-belief is built, not inherited. It's created through showing up, through trying, through failing and still moving forward. Every time you keep going, you lay another brick in the foundation of your confidence. You don't have to fake it. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to keep showing up as the real you, with your flaws, your lessons, your scars, and your fire. Because self-belief is not some magical quality that only a few people have. It's a decision you make daily. It's a mindset, a muscle. And the more you exercise it, the stronger it becomes. You'll never have complete certainty about the future. You'll never feel totally ready. But belief isn't about knowing the outcome. It's about trusting that you can handle the journey. It's not about guarantees. It's about guts. Every breakthrough begins with someone who decided to believe they were capable of more. You don't need a crowd to start. You don't need approval to rise. You need only one thing, the courage to believe that you are enough and that you're worth the effort it takes to become everything you're meant to be. So never let anyone convince you that believing in yourself is arrogance. Because it's not about ego. It's about heart. It's about resilience. It's about the strength to keep going, the humility to keep learning, and the courage to become more. In a world full of doubt, choose to be different. Choose to believe, not because it's easy, but because you're worth it. One of the most heartbreaking things in life is watching someone full of potential wait for the world to validate them. They hold back, they hesitate, they question their worth, their readiness, their talent. Not because they lack ability, but because they're still waiting for someone else to say, you're good enough. They delay their dreams, silence their voice, and shrink their vision, all in the hope that someone somewhere will give them permission to believe in themselves. But here's the truth. No one can give you what already lives within you. You don't need permission. You need a decision. Waiting for perfect conditions is a trap. Waiting for people to cheer you on is a delay tactic. Waiting for certainty, applause, or an invitation to rise is how dreams die quietly. Belief isn't handed to you, it's chosen by you. It's not a gift someone else grants. It's a declaration you make to yourself. I may not have all the answers, I may not be perfect, but I'm going to move anyway. That decision to move forward despite the unknown is where belief begins. That I'm going to move anyway. That decision to move forward despite the unknown is where belief begins. The truth is, many people never start because they've been conditioned to think that success belongs only to the chosen few, the ones with the right background, the right connections, the right timing. But belief doesn't care where you come from. It only cares where you're willing to go. Some of the greatest success stories started with people who had nothing but a quiet decision to trust themselves. Not because they were the most talented, not because they were the most popular, but because they stopped waiting and started believing. When you wait for permission, you hand your power over to others. You let their opinion become your ceiling. You allow their limitations to become your reality. But belief doesn't live in the hands of others. It lives in your choice to rise anyway. And the sooner you realize that, the sooner you free yourself. No one can feel your passion the way you do. No one sees your vision the way you do. So why would you wait for someone who doesn't carry your fire to validate your path? You will be doubted. You will be misunderstood. There will be people who won't see what you see, and that's okay. They're not supposed to. It's not their vision. It's yours. Your responsibility isn't to make the world believe in you. It's to believe in yourself so deeply that you no longer need them to. Because when you carry that level of belief, something inside you shifts. You stop chasing approval and start chasing purpose. You stop needing validation and start creating impact. It's time to stop looking around and start looking within. Your next level doesn't need more permission. It needs more belief. If you keep waiting for someone else to give you the green light, you'll spend your life at a red light that never turns. You'll watch others move forward while you wonder what could have been. You'll regret the time you wasted asking for permission to be who you already are. So start now. Start messy. Start unsure. But start with belief. You don't have to feel ready. You don't need everyone to agree. You don't have to know how it will all work out. You just have to trust that you will figure it out along the way. You will grow. You will fall and rise. You will evolve. But none of it starts until you stop waiting. You are enough. Not someday. Not when it's perfect, not when you get approval, but right now. So choose yourself, choose your belief, and don't look back. The only permission you ever needed was already yours to give. Doubt is not the enemy, it's a part of the human experience. Everyone hears it. The moment you set your eyes on something bigger than your current reality, the voice shows up, it whispers, "Are you sure you can do this?" It questions your worth, your preparation, your timing. It doesn't care who you are, rich or poor, seasoned or new. Doubt visits everyone. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't isn't the absence of doubt, it's what they do in spite of it. People often think the confident never feel fear, that the strong never question themselves. But that's a myth. Even the greatest have moments of insecurity. What makes them different is that they don't let that doubt be the loudest voice in the room. They acknowledge it, but they don't obey it. They move anyway. They speak anyway. They build anyway. Because belief in a vision, in a dream, in themselves, drowns out the noise of fear. You must understand that doubt doesn't disappear before action. It fades because of action. The more you move, the less power it has. Doubt wants to paralyze you. It wants you to overthink, to hesitate, to sit still while time passes you by. But belief takes the first step, not because everything is certain, but because it refuses to stay stuck. Belief says, I may not know exactly how this ends, but I trust myself enough to begin. Think about it. Every person who's ever done something remarkable, they all had reasons to doubt. They all had moments when it would have been easier to quit, to shrink, to play it safe. But they didn't. They chose to move. They chose to speak over their fear with faith. Not blind faith, but active faith. Faith that learns, that adapts, that builds. They understood one key principle. Belief doesn't mean you never doubt. It means you don't let doubt make your decisions. And here's the truth. If you're waiting for the perfect moment where all doubt disappears before you act, you'll wait forever. That moment doesn't come. What comes is strength, earned through every moment you choose courage over comfort. Through every decision where you lean into growth rather than give in to fear. You won't always feel ready. You won't always have clarity. But that's where belief steps in. It bridges the gap between where you are and where you're trying to go. Belief tells you, I can learn as I go. I can become what I need to be. I am capable of more than I've seen so far. And when that belief becomes louder than your doubt, something shifts. You no longer wait for permission. You stop playing small. You start creating momentum. You begin rewriting your story. So the next time doubt shows up, and it will, don't panic. Don't see it as a sign to stop. Instead, recognize it as proof that you're growing. Because doubt only visits when you're standing at the edge of change. And in that moment, don't argue with it. Don't let it paralyze you. Respond with action, even a small one. Make the call, send the message, start the workout, say the words, do something. Action is belief in motion. Remember, courage is not the absence of fear. It's the decision that something else matters more. And what matters more is your purpose, your growth, your future. Let your belief be so loud that doubt has no room to breathe, because the life you want is on the other side of that first step. And the only thing standing between who you are and who you can become is the volume of your belief. Belief is powerful, but belief alone is not enough. You can sit with vision, passion, and purpose burning in your chest, but until you act on it, nothing changes. You can imagine the life you want, talk about your goals, dream about freedom, success, love, or healing, but without action, it all remains a fantasy. True belief doesn't sit still. True belief moves. It pushes you forward, even when the path is uncertain. Because belief without movement is like a car with no fuel. It may look good, it may feel inspiring, but it won't take you anywhere. There are so many people who believe in what they're capable of, but they're still stuck. Not because they lack skill or desire, but because they're waiting. Waiting for the perfect time. Waiting for everything to align. Waiting for confidence to magically appear. But time doesn't wait. Life doesn't wait. And success definitely doesn't wait. If you believe in something, really believe, you must prove it through your actions. Action is the language of belief. It's what separates the dreamers from the doers. It's what turns thoughts into results. Every goal, every transformation, every breakthrough, it began with one small step. Not a perfect step, not a giant leap, just movement. Something, anything. The smallest consistent action done with intention has more power than the biggest dream left untouched. You don't need to have all the answers before you start. You just need the courage to begin. Belief that waits for clarity will starve. But belief that chooses progress, even without a map, grows stronger with every step. You learn, you adjust, you evolve. That's how belief becomes unshakable, not by sitting in silence, but by moving through uncertainty. Think about the people who've achieved something extraordinary. None of them had the perfect circumstances. They didn't wait for the stars to align. They believed, yes, but then they acted. They faced failure, they faced doubt, but they kept showing up, kept building, kept climbing. Not because it was easy, but because they refused to let their belief die in stillness. Let this sink in. Every time you say, I believe, but do nothing, you weaken the power of that belief. But every time you act, even in fear, even when you stumble, you breathe life into your vision. You show the world, and more importantly yourself, that your belief is real. That it has weight. That it's not just a feeling, it's a force. It's not about massive, world-changing steps every day. It's about discipline, consistency. Showing up even when you don't feel like it. Doing what needs to be done, even when motivation isn't there. Because belief sustained by action becomes a habit, and habits shape destiny. This is your moment, not someday, not next week. Now, look at your dreams and ask, what small action can I take today that proves I believe in this? Then do it. Do it without overthinking, without waiting for applause, without needing permission. Because the reward isn't just in the results, it's in knowing that you honored your belief with movement. The bridge between your dream and your reality is built brick by brick, step by step, with daily action. Every time you show up, you lay another brick. Every time you try again, even after failing, you strengthen the foundation. You don't need more belief. You need more movement, more risk, more faith in your ability to grow through the doing. So stop waiting. Start building. Let your actions echo louder than your intentions. Let them speak for your belief. Because belief without action is just a dream, but belief in motion, that's transformation. And you right now have the power to move, to decide, to take that step, not tomorrow, today. Let your belief come alive through what you do, not just what you say. That's how dreams become your reality. One step at a time. At the core of every transformation, every breakthrough, every success story is belief. Not just wishful thinking or surface-level confidence, but deep, unshakable belief that fuels action, drives persistence, and ignites the will to grow. You've learned that belief is not arrogance, it's courage. It's not about waiting for someone to validate you. It's about deciding right now that you are enough, you are ready, and you are capable of becoming more. You now understand that belief is stronger than talent, louder than doubt, and more powerful than any excuse. But it must be expressed through action. Belief that just sits in your mind fades, but belief that moves, builds, fights, and endures, that belief creates a life you're proud to live. So don't just believe, act like it. Don't just dream, build it. Don't just wait, become it. Because the world doesn't respond to potential, it responds to proof. And proof is found in what you do next. Now go prove your belief with your life.